Welcome back to my channel, Custom Scrapbook Design by Christy Stubbs. And welcome back to another installment of Scrappin Saturday. So this Saturday, I am coming to you with a new collection. We're actually going to work with the Simple Vintage Life in Bloom by Simple Stories. And I was unable to get like the whole collection kit per se, but I did get all of the individual papers and I did get the sticker sheet, and you're going to see there's quite a bit missing from that. If you saw my tutorial on the custom built album, I actually had used this collection for that as well. But this is going to be the first in a series of layouts that we're going to do. And I do kind of have an idea today, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. And I believe we're going to try and do a 2-page spread. And I'm going to do that using one of the coordinating cardstock pieces. So this is the Life in Bloom, Lilac, and Pool. And we're going to use the lilac side of this. So we want to cut our branding strip off. So we've got that cut off of both of those. So that'll give us our base to get started. And then let's get, there's a little bit of writing up in the corner and a little bit of typeset here. So you want to make sure that you do get that facing the right direction. And then I've already cut one piece. We're going to have to cut the second one together. So I cut off a 4-inch strip going up and down off of one piece. So we're going to set this aside. We may actually get 4 pages done on this video. We'll see how long this first set takes. And then I did grab another one. And this is the Beautiful Things. And I want a strip to go across the bottom on this one. That's why I had to grab a whole new sheet, because I want everything to be facing correctly. If I were to take it off of this and turn it, we would have lettering and typeset be facing the wrong way. So we're going to need to use a whole nother sheet, and I'm going to cut another 4-inch strip off of that one. And it's going to go across the bottom like so. And this one's going to go along the side like so. And I had actually pre-cut the photo mats as well. And this 2-page spread is going to hold 4 4x6 photos. And so I matted a white 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 piece onto a black piece of cardstock that measures 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. So this is kind of essentially how I want, at least how I think I want currently, the photo mats to lay out. So I just thought I'd kind of show you that, and then we'll finish putting together the rest of the patterned paper on here. Okay, so next up, I've already made a mess of my supplies. Does not take long. I did cut a 2.5-inch piece of the black that is 12 inches long. And I should have another one of those over in my pile of paper here. And we're going to run one of those along the bottom. And then I also grabbed a piece of my favorite and we're going to use this typewriter side of it. And I want a 1-inch strip of that. So we're going to just cut 1 inch of that. Cut the branding strip off. And that's just going to go right on top of that strip. And then next to that, I want to do another 1-inch strip. And we're going to use the back side of the floral, and it's a pink and white polka dot. So I just want to have a 1-inch strip of that as well. We're going to just cut this branding strip off here quick. And then we'll cut a 1-inch strip. So we're going to line those up onto the black, like so, so that there's just a little bit of black kind of bordering this piece and then bordering this piece, and then it looks like it's bordering this as well. And then we're going to mimic that on the other side. So I'm going to cut a piece, another piece of each of those. And to do that, I'm going to have to get another full piece of this because I want the keys to be going the correct way. If I cut it from here again, my letters are going to be sideways. So I'll need a whole nother piece just to cut that off. Okay, so those are cut and going to be ready to ink. We will ink the edges on those. But before we do that, I want to add some more paper, and we're going to add just a little bit of this gingham paper, just a little bit of it. So let's take a peek here with the photo mat again. I'm going to do one that way and one that way. And I actually just want a little bit of this, roughly to about there. You like how I measured that? That measuring was pretty much non-existent. So this piece actually measures, I'll give you a measurement on it, 4 3/4. And then we're only going to want a little of that sticking out of there. And it's going to need to go this direction because of the typing on there. And I don't think I want it to go all the way down. I want to have that purple spacing in between there. And we've got 5.5 inches roughly. So I'm going to cut this at 4 3/4 just to be safe, and then I can take off a little sliver if I decide that that's more than I need. So we'll cut another one that's going to be 4 3/4 for the opposing page while we're cutting. And then we're also going to cut a little bit of the green. And the green that we're going to use is It's just called Flamingo and Green. On the back side is that beautiful pink flamingo color. And then we're going to use this green because it kind of pulls from the leaves just a little bit. And actually, let's take a look at this. I'm not so sure we're going to pull any of the green. I'm changing my mind already. We might have enough colors going on here with what we've got. Let's kind of temporarily set everything in place and see what it looks like and then decide. I'm going to give it a little preview. I almost should have gone wider on that gingham, but maybe we'll offset that just a little bit more. I like the look of that. And then this one at the bottom, I think we're going to want to line it up in the corner. And then bring that photo mat there. And we'll do the other photo mat here. And what I was wanting to do is on one of the cut apart sheets, if I can find it, there are a bunch of these 2x2 squares. And so I kind of wanted to carry some of those across the spot right here and potentially maybe one here. And then I also thought we would take one of the 4x4s and cut one apart for right here and then one for right here. And being as this is 4 inches currently, I think we'll cut them just a little bit smaller than the 4 so that they'll fit in there nicely. So we'll go ahead and cut those apart. And then we're going to use this green to mat that. So I'm going to cut 2 4x4 at 3 and 15/16. It's looking a little busy. Okay. All right, so I think what we're going to do is go ahead and just ink all of this and then start laying it down and see what we think of that so far. So I'm going to ink. Okay, we've got most of the inking done, not all of it. We'll have to go back and do these butterflies once I decide that those are going to be what we use. So I want to just go ahead and put our little cut apart on its mat, and it's got a super thin green matting behind it. which hopefully will be enough to help it kind of pop off of that floral print. So we'll go ahead and hook that down as well. And I'm not going to get overly carried away with my adhesive, because if you have followed along with me at all, you know that I will potentially pull it up, because I'm never going to get it on straight on the first try. Oh, my goodness, I'm really struggling to get that on straight. Might need to turn it. All right, let's start fresh. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and put our little black strip beside it. And I'm just going to line it right up next to it. Nice and tight. And it looks like my black piece might be just a touch longer than 12. And if that's the case, when we get done, we can trim that little bit off. This is why I don't do things that line up straight. Why I always do things crooked, because I struggle getting things to be straight. Still not quite right. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to put our pink piece on, and I'm just going to put a couple dabs of tape on that, because I know that this is going to be more of a challenge to get everything spaced correctly, so I'm probably going to end up pulling that back off. So we'll just do a little tape on both of these until we get them spaced just right. I cannot imagine I got that right on the first try. That would be a miracle. But it looks pretty evenly spaced. Okay. Pink one's got a little bubble in it. Okay. So we've got that all spaced out, and then I do have this piece here, the black and white gingham that I wanted to go in the corner, and I'm just going to line it right up in the corner. Actually, I'm going to bring it in just a touch. Hopefully that's what I decide how I want to keep that. We'll see. So that's the basic layout, and we're just going to bring this set in and do the same thing, only it lines up across the bottom. So let's start with that bottom piece and see if we can get that one on there straight. That one went on a lot easier. And then we're going to do our black piece. Okay, and then our pink piece. Now I'll probably go back after we get this all exactly how we want it and add probably a little wet adhesive, just because it would be hard to add some more tape to it, but I could potentially add some wet adhesive to it. All right, This one, not quite so lucky. Spaced it too far. And that's why I don't use the wet adhesive to begin with, because it doesn't allow for me to be able to move that around once I've set it. That wet adhesive tends to grab fairly quickly, which is it's a good thing. It definitely isn't a downfall, except when you're like me and need to reposition stuff quite often. So, all right, and we'll put the little cut apart on its mat. And it is directional because of the bees, and then there is some type. There is a little bit of type print on there too, so it is directional. Okay. Oh, and the gingham piece. And I am going to match or mimic the way that I did the other one. And just leave a little, very small purple border, about 1/8 of an inch. All right, so there's that one. And then we'll bring in that one. Let's bring back in those photo mats. It's gonna go that direction. I guess I could have gone a lot smaller gingham piece. So if you're following along and you want to mimic this, you could do that piece a lot smaller and just kind of conserve some of that paper. This one you'd want to leave the same size though, because you do see a lot more of that one. Okay. Now to decide on these 4x4s, I originally thought that they would just sit in that little 4-inch section, but I might be changing my mind on that. There's really not a lot of, especially this one, not a lot of contrast. We could even change that out if we wanted to maybe the 3x4s. But I think we're gonna hold off on that. I'm gonna just keep going with this and then decide. So maybe we'll do one butterfly there. And then do the 2 of them there. Now I feel like we should maybe mat those butterflies as well to make them pop, or I can see they need trimmed just a little bit, so let's get that extra off of there first, and then maybe ink one and see if just inking it will be enough to pop it off of that background page better. Okay, so that measures 2x2. And that does honestly give us enough contrast, I think. So we're just gonna get that little extra cut off of this one. And this one as well. And we're just gonna bring our mat, our little Dollar Tree mat in, and I tend to ink over top of that just because I don't know if it's picking it up or not, but my dauber here really does start to kind of shred the more that I ink, and honestly, even when I'm using a fairly new one, it starts to shred rather quickly. So I just use that mat to kind of protect my work surface a little bit from that, because you will end up with, or potentially end up with, some ink smears because of that. So that's why I use that. Okay. So if we line up our photo mats, want to make sure I leave enough room for the butterflies. And this one would make a good journaling spot for this layout. So that's why I kind of like that. And maybe we'll just pull it in far enough that that green ends up actually, oh, I'm hitting that black piece of paper, ends up actually on top of that black just a little bit, instead of being 100% on that floral. I don't know if you can see that. Once I get that hooked down, I'll bring that in a little closer for you to see. And I think I want to bring that down. Originally, I was going to keep those even. If you know me, you've heard me say it a million times, I really don't like lining things up. So I'm going to offset that a little bit. I may actually offset that as well, instead of keeping it centered. And then over on this other page, I think we'll kind of try and center that butterfly a little bit under that photo mat. And I do think we'll bring this one down just a little further and bring this one over. So now I'm going to backtrack on cutting that shorter, because now it is, you can see the full length of it. So I do like the way that that looks quite a bit better. And then this one, I do think we'll leave it, nope, we're going to off center it just a bit too. Now whether or not we want to off center them the same amount is the question, which I'm liking the looks of that. So all we've got to do is hook everything down. And these photo mat here will help hold down this pattern paper that I maybe don't have attached real tight. This will help to hold that down, as will this photo mat on the top. Go ahead and place that about equal distance, top and side. And actually I'm going to go closer only because my photo mat was blending in with that stripe, and now I've got some of that pattern paper showing, so it kind of pops that photo mat up just a little bit more. That one's hooked down. I'll hook down this cut apart. And we're gonna pop it over into that black trim so that it stands out a little better as well. And then let's put down these butterflies. And do I want them? Yeah, of course we're gonna offset them. Would you expect anything less? Oh, and of course I'm gonna move those. I want this one over just to the left a little bit further and try and straighten it out, because I don't want this one lined up with the edge of that paper. I want that to be offset a little bit more. So that is why I lifted that and wanted to move it. Okay, one of them is crooked. Looks like it might be this one. Okay, that looks a little better. And I dropped my tape runner. So put that back together real quick so that we can put the other page down. That one looks good so far. We're not quite done, but we're getting there. All right, so this one, I'm going to start with the cut apart. And again, you want to watch your positioning of your bees. And I am lining that up so that it hits in that little black little border piece there. I'm going to put a little tape under that piece. I'm going to hook down those photo mats. I want to bring that one down all the way down to the pink, just to offset that. And then we're going to bring this one down far enough so you can see that gingham. And then you can see a little purple, almost the same amount of purple, side and bottom. And then we've got this butterfly. I love butterflies. So I have been dying to use this collection. If you haven't caught my tutorial on the custom album, you should check that out. That was the first thing that I did with this particular collection because I could not wait to use it. Okay, so we've got the basics as far as the papers are concerned. Now I want to take a quick peek at our sticker sheet. And I have the sticker booklet. And I want to see if there's anything that we need to add to the layout. And I feel like I kind of want to add something next to or around the 4x4 cut aparts just to maybe help make them stand out just a little bit more. I feel like maybe they do blend in just a little. So let's see what we can do. Well, I do know we're going to add some of these little phrases. And I've got "Oh, happy day," and we're going to add that one right here. And favorite, we're going to add right here. And we're going to take a peek at the ephemera pieces. And maybe we can layer some of those with those cut aparts to help. Okay, looks like that is about all for my options there. And then I do have the chipboard stickers here, and I'm not real sure on that either, but something that I do want to fix before I get any further and won't be able to fit this in my cutter is this little bit that's sticking up across the top here. I want to trim that off because that's going to bug me. Didn't quite get it all. Okay. Now that sliver's gone. Just kind of stuck out like a sore thumb to me. Let's put our ephemera pieces back on there. Okay, it looks like I'm going to wrap up this 2-page spread. And you've got your room for your 4 4x6 photos. And there's a great journaling spot here. And I think that there is plenty on there. So I hope you liked those. I've got a plan for the next 2 pages, so let's just do those really quick while we're at it. They're going to utilize some of the cutoffs that are left from doing this page. I had kind of an idea lined up for this page as well. And for this one, I'm not sure if we're going to use the green side or the purple side. But we're going to need the floral piece that was left. And we're going to want both of them. This one went this way, and this one went this way. And then I had already prepared the photo mats as well. So there was one there, one 4x6 there, and then on the other side, I was gonna do one 4x6 here, one 4x6 here, and then 2 3x4s. Now for these, I was actually going to trim just a little bit off of the floral paper just so it doesn't go edge to edge. So I really think we can probably just trim off about 1.5 inches. And then that way that gives us a nice kind of a border on the top and the bottom. And so we're going to do 1.5 inches off of this one as well. We'll keep that piece. We may end up using it. Okay. I'm going to take these photo mats off of here so we don't lose those. Put them all together. I better cut the branding strips off of these before I get too far. We know what happens when I do that. I get the page too full and then I can't fit it under there to cut that off. So learned that lesson quickly. I hope you're enjoying the Scrappin Saturday series. I'm really enjoying doing it. It keeps me scrapbooking, which it seems these days I'm not having a lot of time to do, so kind of makes me happy to be able to do these. Forces me to get a few layouts done anyway. Okay, get that right side up. And then get this one placed like that. Let's get that one right side up as well. And then I'm gonna grab some of the 4x4 cut aparts because I think I'm gonna want to use a couple of those on this layout. Okay, so let's start, before I cut into that, let's just get started by inking these pieces and getting them set in place. And then we can decide where we want to go from there. Okay, we're going to take and place those photo mats down again. And of course, once again, I was going to center those down that patterned paper, but I kind of like the look of offsetting them, so we'll see. It's still early in the game of me putting down stuff, so it may end up getting moved yet again. And then we've got those 2 3x4 photos there. Oh, I went and grabbed those 3x4s, but there's really not room on this page for a 3x4, but there would be on this one. So now we need to decide if we're going to have the purple as the background or the green as the background, because that's going to help determine which of these 4x4 cut aparts we're going to want to use. And I was thinking about using this Celebrate Every Day, so we would want to have that either directly on that purple background, or we would need to mat it and then put it on this green background. So let's get that cut out. Okay, let's take a quick peek and see if I picked the right ones. And let's go ahead and flip this over to the green side. Because I do think I want to switch it up and have that green background. Really makes that floral paper pop on there. And since we're gonna do that, we could take and mat this on a color to make it pop off the page a little bit. And maybe we should mat it on some white. Let's take a look at that. I don't know if that's necessarily what I want to do. Okay, I like the look of the pink. Let's go ahead and ink this. Looks fairly good. We'll put our first photo mat down here in the corner. Then we're going to put our other photo mat about the same distance away from the edge of the paper up in this top corner. And then we've got our little 3x4. And it looks like I'm shedding. All right. Yep, you guessed it. I'm going to be moving that first one I set. Not quite where I want it. I think I want to have more space if I don't tear up any of the patterned paper. So I'm kind of spacing this about the same and trying to get that roughly the same. Something about like that. I'm not pressing down really hard because we all know I still could change my mind on that. I'm going to take that page and set it aside and pull this one in and decide what we're going to do with it. If we're going to go back to centering it, let's go ahead and set this piece in place because that definitely is, I do know that for sure, that it is going to be centered. Top to bottom, left to right. Okay. And then our photo mats. Do we want to run those centered in that pattern paper and then just add some decoration to the outer edges, or do we want to pull them off to the side? Like so, which is what I am kind of leaning towards. And then I am leaning towards leaving this matted on here as well. So let's go ahead and finish matting that. And check and see if that's what we want to do for sure. I do like the pink. Kind of blends in with that flower. Yep, offset just a little more. Maybe pull these in closer. And then if we add this butterfly up here, I need to get some more of this pink paper. And let's mat that one as well. But first we want to ink it. Okay, we've got them both matted. I actually think we're going to pull those in. Maybe not. Of course, you know, I don't want everything to be totally lined up. Maybe we'll pull the photo mats closer together. Let's go ahead and tack those down just lightly until I'm positive that's where I want to place them. And we want to have somewhat equal distance top to bottom, left to right. And I feel like we're going to pull that bottom one up, of course. Oh my goodness, heaven forbid I get something placed right the first try. And literally moved about 1/8 of an inch. Okay. And then we're going to angle those. I like the look of them being angled rather than lined up. Okay, let's pull our other page in, take a look at it, and it honestly looks like all we need to do is add some embellishing to this. I'm leaning towards that one, and I think that we're going to take and pop it up on some foam dots, foam squares, because I want to slide the photos on the photo mats underneath, because this is going to overhang them just a little bit, and this will allow for our photo to slide right underneath there. I'm just double checking to make sure I've got them placed such that they will. And I don't always, but I try to remember to just add another little dot of glue to the foam dots. It just gives it the security that it's gonna stick and stay. I think right there. Try and check that out real quick before it dries. It'll still slide under. Photo will still slide under there. And I'm sure one, yep, will still slide under there. So I like the way that gives it a little bit of extra dimension as well. That is beautiful. And now I just want to add something right up here. So I think we have enough sayings. And the sticker sheet, let's check it out. Oh, there's some more pretty florals. I'm going to stick that up here. not sure if there's any right way. I'm going to stick that right there. And we're going to add a couple of these little bees. I'm going to stick one right there on the flower. We're going to have another one buzzing by. And one more flying up the side here. Okay. I like the way that looks, and possibly, oh, there's a little purple butterfly. I'm going to add a little butterfly to the word beauty here. And I believe this side is done, so we're going to set it aside while we add the extras to the other page. And it really does not need a lot. Let's see if we've got maybe, you know, the greenery is going to blend in, but these purple flowers, we could maybe tuck one underneath that photo mat. And then there is another one. That we could bring in, tucked right underneath that photo mat. Perfect. And then I think we'll add a couple of the butterflies to this page as well. And we're going to probably be done. Let's see. Add a pink one here. Oh, let's add this orange one. We've got the orange in the other butterfly on the opposing page, so we're gonna put that one at the top there. This is still sticking up a little bit. I'm going to stick a little glue under that to hold it down. There we go. Everything else seems like it's stuck down good. Let's take a look at them side by side and see if they need anything else added to them. Do we need to add any of these little phrases or words, or the hearts? Let's see. I don't think so. I think we're going to let it be, which is totally unlike me. I would normally keep adding to it, but I honestly think that we're going to let that be the end of it, except I am going to add just a few little pen work touches to it. I'm going to leave that for some labeling. Definitely want to do some journaling. A few more squigglies coming up here. Just to finish that one off. And then move that out of the way. We're going to run a few down the side there. And across the top. Now it's done. Okay, let's bring that other page back in. Fairly simple page, you guys. Got a little bit of a bonus getting 4 pages. So here's the final of the 2 pages we just completed. They've got the basic coordinating color cardstock for the background. You can hold 4 4x6 photos and 2 3x4 photos. And then here's the other 2-page layout that we finished. So we've already completed 4 pages. Whoa, didn't glue this one down. 4 pages using this Life in Bloom, and we haven't even scratched the surface on this, you guys. I can't wait to do some more layouts with you guys. If you stuck with me till the end, I appreciate you hanging in there while we completed these layouts. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I enjoyed making them. I'm looking forward to completing more pages with you guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I'd appreciate it if you would. You can turn on notifications so that as I upload new content, you won't miss a thing. Thanks so much for joining me for my Scrappin Saturday series, and I look forward to another fun layout next Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Bye for now.